Okay, thank you for being with us today. Actually, as we watched the video earlier, National Competitiveness Rankings clearly shows the overall country's attractiveness and power. Actually, it depends on innovation, institutional strengths, human capital, and more important thing, country's ability to adapt to rapidly changing environment, I guess. In order to understand this, I personally invited guest speakers for 3 major countries. Actually, I invited 4, but Ambassador of Uzbekistan could not come, but he sent his deputy, but could not deliver, so he will probably report back to his ambassador later on. So I will ask 3 representatives, beginning Thailand. So let me introduce current Thailand ambassador, Tanit Sengnat. He will make a presentation 10 minutes, and then probably Q&A later on, but probably it depends on his flight schedule. Okay, please.
안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. 다들 잘 지내셨나요? Thank you very much. I will be very quick. Thank you for the invitation. I found today's session very interesting, and it's a great opportunity for me to come before you and present some of our information about Thailand. I think many people know about Thailand. We are one of Korea's closest friends. We are not so far away. We are in Southeast Asia. We are a country of 70 million. If I can have my PowerPoint, I'll go through them very quickly. As far as global rankings are concerned, we are 25th in the world in terms of competitiveness, number 37th in terms of digital competitiveness. We are number 1 by US News and World Report in terms of ease of doing business. We are 45th in our SDG index, number 9 in terms of FDI confidence, and we are number 6 in terms of best expat destination. We have many and growing number of expats living in our country. Many Koreans, many Americans, many Europeans, not only visiting Thailand, but also deciding to spend the rest of their lives in their retirement in our country. We have 17 FTAs with 24 countries or economies. We are concluding one with Korea. We have about $15 billion trade with Korea. With the conclusion of CEPA, our FTA with Korea, the number will be about $17 billion. We are parties to many FTAs and regional arrangements. In terms of our comprehensive infrastructure, we have well-established infrastructure. We are building a railroad, high-speed train to Laos and China. We are planning on linking our, we call it the 3 airport project, from Don Mueang Airport, Suvarnabhumi Airport, and Utapao Airport, all the way to our Eastern Economic Corridor in the east of Bangkok, connecting possibly with Cambodia. We have very high advance in terms of our digital industry. We have a lot of investment in data center and cloud services. We also have a green transition policy where we have provide incentives for green transition for utility tariff. We have some of the largest number of students of the Korean language in our country, about 5,000 at the secondary level. So people love K-pop, we love K-drama and Korean food. Thai food is very spicy, so we love Korean food, and I think Korean like Thai food as well. So come to my place and we have some Thai food as well. We have very robust supply chain growth. We are well connected with our neighbors all around. We have some 236 international schools of global standards, not only in Bangkok and in the EEC, Eastern Economic Corridor, but also in Chiang Mai, in Phuket, in Samui. We are expanding all the time. We are expanding our deep sea port in Lam Chabang. Our Samui, called Samui in the middle. We're expanding our port to receive ocean liners to Samui as well. So currently, Korea is one of our leading investors in Thailand. All of the major companies are already in Thailand. Hyundai is finishing up building the factory for the Ioniq 5 and 6 to be launched next year. We'll start their production. We are top 5 Korean investment, top 5 industries in Thailand: electronics and electrical application, medical industry, machinery and vehicles, chemical and petrochemical products, and also high-value services. So Koreans, we are operating under our potential. Korea is number 4 largest economy in East Asia. Thailand is the second largest economy in Southeast Asia. So we are trading at only $15 billion. So I think we can do a lot more trading and a lot more investment. If you go to the next slide, it will show you quickly the, companies like Samwa, Hansol, Samsung, LG, POSCO have been in Thailand for several decades. So we are all ready for your investment, for your business. We are finishing up in the process to sign an MOU to establish for the first time Korean industrial estate in Thailand for the first time. So in terms of 5 strategic industries that we would like to attract Korean businesses even further are industries like bio-based alternative energy, EV, automotive and future mobility, electronics, digital and creative economy, and also regional headquarters. Bangkok is the regional headquarters of many international organizations. The ECOSOC is there, and many regional bodies. We hope to have more Korean headquarters in Bangkok. In a nutshell, thank you very much. 감사합니다.ขอบคุณครับ.
Thank you very much. Actually, he has a plane to catch, so he may not be able to answer any questions. If you have any burning desire to ask any questions before his departure.
Ask my economic section.
Okay, so 2 diplomats coming over here, so probably they can answer.
Much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry, I have to run.
Yeah, investors is
Happy New Year.
busy, but this is super busy during the year, so bon voyage. Okay, bon voyage. Okay, thank you. Okay, and now our next speaker is case of Sweden. Actually, Sweden was second in the world in terms of differentiation rankings around the world 2025. So let me introduce Ambassador of Sweden, Carl Olof Andersson. He is a graduate of prestigious London University. Please welcome Ambassador Andersson.
Thank you very much. It's a great privilege to be invited here. I have learned a lot about competitiveness and how you can look at competitiveness from different angles. I will give my angle on competitiveness from a Swedish perspective. There are, I think, a realization that competitiveness is not really a national concern. It's a global concern. So we all have to look at it and work together. And most countries have their own path towards competitiveness. But I think in some respects there is the same foundation for how you become long-term competitive. I will highlight three pillars that were important for Sweden, or are important. One is innovation, our ability to translate knowledge into solutions of societal problems. Another one is strong institutions. Have institutions that are stable and create trust in society, so there's a willingness to invest and to take risk. And the third and last one is to give hope and opportunity for the next generation. To give young people an idea of the future, and they don't feel left behind, but they have hope and opportunity. This, of course, is not unique for Sweden, and it's a general challenge, I think, in many countries. If we look at Sweden and our journey, our economic journey, I think you could define it as reinventing through challenges. In the mid-1800s, Sweden was one of the poorest countries in Europe. But since then, through a number of breakthroughs in engineering, good education, and in industry, we have built up a strong tradition of innovation. This development, this journey, has not always been comfortable. Global competition has over time intensified in many fields, and I would like to mention shipbuilding as an example. In the early 70s, Swedish shipbuilding was world class. We were basically world leaders in the shipbuilding. And then competition came from various parts of the world, not least from East Asia. And then we had to rethink that economic foundation of our industry. And cities like Malmö and Gothenburg, the third and second largest cities, very dependent on heavy industry and shipbuilding, have today the shipbuilding disappeared, and now they're venturing into mobility, information technology, and life sciences, and many more areas. But I think this is a model that many countries have to follow, that is to see the need to always evolve, to always reinvent yourself continuously. And today, again, we face challenges that cross all borders. Young people and are uncertain about the future. They see climate disruption, security challenges, technological acceleration, and the pace of change itself is increasing and very tough. But it's for us, this generation, to actually turn this uncertainty into an opportunity. And if you then look at Sweden as a competitive nation, I would like to highlight some strengths in a global context. We as noticed today, we very often land very high up in indexes on competitiveness and innovation and other indexes. And I think the competitive advantages that I outline are definitely part of that explanation. So first issue is innovation and research and development. Sweden puts around 3.5% of GDP into research and development, which is among the highest in the world, very high in the European context. We work with a model we like to call a triple helix model when it comes to innovation, where business, universities, and politics work seamlessly to find solutions to a number of societal problems, and to find new ways of doing things. We're also one of the top leading patent filers in Europe. We are among top unicorn hubs per capita, a number of fast-growing high-tech companies. We have a high number of IPOs and a high number of startups. So that's innovation and research and development. Another competitive advantage is systems integration. We are quite good at combining hardware, software, and services into advanced systems, be it mobility solutions or defense technology. And you pair that with a business-friendly regulatory environment. And another factor is connectivity, and maybe here AI would come in as a factor. As you know, Ericsson is a Swedish company, and they have built a global digital infrastructure for centuries, which the world relies on. Another factor, clean technologies and green industry. As example, we are focusing on green steel initiatives, fossil-free processes for steel production and other type of production. We have electricity system that's 98% fossil-free, and we have industries that see a benefit from seeking sustainable solutions to problems. Another factor is a well-educated workforce. This doesn't sound much in Korean perspective, but half of 25 to 34-year-olds go to tertiary education to university. So we have a well-educated and a multilingual and skilled workforce. I would also like to highlight access to natural resources for the future. We have potentials for metals and rare earth elements essential for semiconductors, batteries, renewable technologies. And a very recent, but maybe not so new item is space innovation. We have the only spaceport in continental European Union in S-Range in North Sweden. And that gives a capacity to satellite launches and research. And we actually have cooperation with Korean agencies and companies as well. So these comparative advantages, on the other hand, only become meaningful through international cooperation and exchange. So coming back to competitiveness, I'd see three areas on a more overall global scale that is a shared challenge and something for us to work together with. And that's, first of all, digital connectivity and security, to build open, secure, and interoperable digital systems that support innovation and protect citizens. Second area, green industry and energy transition, sharing technologies, talents, and standards that accelerate decarbonization and create new industries. And the third, where I come back to where I started, talents, skills, and youth empowerment, to establish cross-border research partnerships, training programs, and pathways for young innovators to work together across continents. So, in conclusion, competitiveness, in my perspective, is not just about one state outperforming another. It's more about whether we can build economies that are resilient, sustainable, and inclusive together, to ensure that the next generation looks to the future with confidence, not fear. And Sweden stands ready to work on these challenges. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Obviously, Sweden is pretty innovation-oriented country. I remember I attended that National Day of Sweden, hosted by Ambassador Andersson. there are many tech companies showing their booths and exhibition. And you mentioned about shipbuilding industry. They are leaders of shipbuilding industry last century, but thanks to MASCA, make American shipbuilding great again. Korean shipbuilding companies now enjoying probably cutting edge technology now. Thank you. And now let me ask Vice Ambassador. Actually, he's the Deputy Chief of Mission here in Korea. Warren Weissert, talk about that Germany. Please.
안녕하십니까. 저는 독일 대사관 부대사 웨론 바이서입니다. 반갑습니다. Well, I would like to thank you very much for inviting me to this brand and competitiveness conference. And I think these two topics are really very topical. First of all, I would also like to express my appreciation for Korea being successful in both these fields. Earlier today, we've seen some Korean brands which were very successful. And I think on the competitive indices, Korea is also doing very well. I think as far as Germany is concerned, we also have a lot of successful brands, not at least here in Korea. If you look on Korean streets, you see Korean cars, of course, and then you see mainly German cars. And so that's something we're very, very proud about. I think competitiveness is an issue which is now very topical in Germany, and it's subject of a very intensive debate because we in Germany feel that this is a field where we're actually facing some challenges. If you look at the rankings prepared by our colleagues here, I think Germany does relatively well in quite a few of them, but very often we're not among the first 10, but probably among the first 20 or so. And this is not where we used to be, so to say. So there's a very intensive discussion in Germany how to increase our competitiveness, what has to be done so that we regain our previous status in that field. I think at the moment we are facing a number of very tremendous challenges, and these challenges make it quite difficult to regain competitiveness as we've had in the past. I don't know whether the next slide is there. Yeah, there we have some of the challenges we're facing now. First of all, there's the Russian war of aggression against Ukraine, and that has impacts on the whole of Europe. I think also the Swedish ambassador made an allusion to that. For Germany in particular, it meant an energy price shock because we lost access to cheap Russian gas and now have to buy resources elsewhere. I think we also face some issues with which also Korea is grappling. We see that there is rising competition worldwide, and I think China especially is something which is a country which is a major competitor for Germany, and I think Korea finds itself in a similar situation. Somewhat unexpectedly, we also see the relationship with one of our other big trading partners changing quite considerably. The US has changed its trade policy approach, and for a country which, like Korea, exports a lot, this is very challenging. Last but not least, recent years have only seen low growth in Germany. In 2024, the German economy actually contracted. This year, we have managed to obtain very little growth, and we hope that the figures for 2026 will be better. Having said that, Germany is still a major player. The German economy is resilient. We, of course, are the biggest economy in Europe. We are also the third largest economy worldwide after the US and China. And that is despite the difficulties we are encountering now. We have a large large industrial sector. I've already mentioned the strong and reputable brands. Germans have a high purchasing power. And I think, which is also very important, we have stable institutions, open markets, and a liberal economic order. I've prepared a little SWOT analysis about our strengths and weaknesses, about the opportunities and threats which we are facing. And I think on the strength side, Germany has a good combination of innovation and industry. We have a very strong industrial base. We also invest a lot of money into research and development. I think one thing which is quite peculiar about Germany is our strong Mittelstand, the small and medium-sized enterprises. So unlike Korea, whose economy is relying mainly on big companies, in Germany it's the small companies which make the difference. So in this sector we have a lot of so-called hidden champions which are very strong and which also active worldwide. Similar to Sweden, I would say one of our big strengths is also our labor force. It's highly skilled, they have high labor productivity, and in Germany we do not only put a lot of emphasis on academic learning, but we also think that professional training is very, very important. So Germany has developed this dual system of vocational training, which also gives skills to those who have not a university degree. And I think one of our strengths is also our integration into the European Union in particular. Germany has 80 million, but we have access to more than 450 million consumers within the EU. Also, we are strongly integrated with global trade. Last but not least, I would also say a reliable administrative and legal framework is important. On the other hand, we also face some challenges. We have some weaknesses. I've already mentioned energy. So German companies find it quite difficult to remain competitive because they face very high energy prices. We have the same problem as Korea as far as demographics is concerned. In recent years, probably Germany has not invested as much as it should in its infrastructure. So in particular, for example, in the field of the internet, I think we have some catching up to do with respect to Korea in particular. And also our bureaucracy has developed very well and basically is now already, it has become a relatively high administrative burden for companies. And I think we have also one issue, whereas in R&D, Germans tend to be world-class. We find it quite difficult to turn these results into products which actually sell on global markets. Opportunities. I think Germany is strong in green technologies, and because our governments have consistently invested in renewable energies and green tech, and I think this will also remain one of our strengths in the years to come. In the field of digitalization, it's not all bleak. Germany has invested into a lot what we call Industry 4.0. We also want to do much more in the field of AI, and I think Germany is an ideal ground for combining industrial strength and the benefits AI may bring. I think if you look at the relationship between Korea and Germany, I think the first thing you have to note that Germany and the EU as a whole continues to be a reliable business partner for Korea. We will not surprise you with rapid changes in regulation. Our markets are quite open, and they are also open for Korean companies. I think what we already see quite a bit is a very good cooperation between Korean actors and German actors in many fields. So, for example, in the field of semiconductors, German companies are integrated in the supply chain of Korean semiconductor companies. We want to work together with Korea in the field of AI, and I think also the field of defense cooperation is quite promising. Coming back to the issue of R&D, I would like to mention Horizon Europe, which is a research and development program by the European Union. Korea has joined this program, and I'm quite convinced that this will be a major impulse for further R&D cooperation between Europe and Korea. In Germany, what we have probably, I mean, we sort of feel the risk of falling behind in some of the key technologies. So AI, would be one of the examples, because we have been somewhat over-relying on traditional industries. I've also already mentioned energy costs and regulation. I think these geopolitical shifts we are seeing are major challenges for all of us. And I think in Germany, we also have to address some internal structures. We've had a new government since the beginning of this year, and they actually have started addressing some of these issues. They have implemented a much more business-friendly economic policy. They have been cutting red tapes, reducing energy prices, and they've also announced that they will invest a huge amount of money into infrastructure. The government also continues to invest heavily in R&D. And in the political side, I think the new chancellor is also aspiring to exert a strong leadership within the EU and beyond. I think Germany has also been investing a lot into national security and defense. The government adopted a package of some 500 billion euro to increase our defense abilities. I think this also opens up opportunities for Korean companies. At the beginning of my speech, I mentioned the growth forecast for next year. And this growth forecast suggests that actually we're making some progress, that we'll be able to build on our strength. And I think looking at Germany, you must not underestimate our abilities in research and development and our well-qualified labor forces. I think in the past, whenever we in Germany were in a situation of crisis, we have been able to adapt. And I think the integration of Germany in the EU is certainly one of the factors which will help us to master the challenges which are ahead of us. I think also, which is very important, is international cooperation, especially international cooperation with like-minded countries. And I think Korea, for us, is a very good partner. We want to increase our cooperation with Korea in many fields. And I think such a cooperation would also provide large opportunities for both Germany and for our partners. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much. Actually, we have a common ground between Germany and Korea. Our legal system is based on German laws. Actually, we are part of that legal legislature. Okay, now let me open to the floor. If you have any questions to either Sweden or Germany, please raise your hand, and then we have a Q&A session, even though we are past time. If you, okay, please. The honorary consul from Trinidad and Tobago.
To Deputy Ambassador of Germany, now you are, probably you are concerned about Ukraine warfare. So I read a newspaper this morning that Poland signed up the import of Korean weapons, about more than $1 billion, something like that. So you feel the same way that you will have to be reinforcing your defense power pretty soon against Russia, or in favor of, the enemies, so-called?
Well, I think you're entirely right. I think the security environment in Europe has deteriorated. We consider the Russian war of aggression not only to be a threat for Ukraine, but for many countries in Europe and for NATO as a whole. And I think that's one of the reasons why all NATO members have agreed to greatly step up in defense expenditures. We have committed to reach 5% of GDP. Of course, Germany and many other countries in Europe have their own defense industries. But I think the need to rearm quickly will also provide opportunities to Korean companies, and it will also provide opportunities for cooperation between Korean and German and Swedish companies. And so I think there will be those opportunities, and I think Korean companies are always very rapid to seize them. And the example you named in Poland, and I think there are also some other countries in Central Europe where Korea is a sought partner, show that that is indeed the case. Thank you.
I can add a little bit how dramatically the security situation changed after the Russian aggression against Ukraine is that Sweden and Finland joined the NATO, which was a major step that was not foreseen before the Russian invasion. It was not on the map, but after a couple of months, we decided both Sweden and Finland to join. And for Sweden, this was a major step because we have been non-aligned over 200 years. So to change that shows you how dramatic the change is. And that has also increased the focus on security in many aspects, not just military, but also economic security and supply chains. And then we see Korea as a very important partner. Defense, with Sweden is a large defense, with a large defense industry, we see complementarity with Korea, but also in many other ways in high-tech, AI, and other fields. So I can just reconfirm that this is a very changed and very real development.
Okay, thank you. Is there any? Okay. I'm really grateful for both of you. Please give big hands to two speakers from Sweden and Germany. And now I officially conclude the end of my session and end of the conference. And Happy New Year to all of you, and then see you 2026 conference. Thank you very much.